and welcome to Scott Swing Sports, ladies and gentlemen. I am back with my NFL and college football predictions. First of all, shout out to my cousin Chris. Happy birthday! Hopefully you have fun tonight at the game, and hopefully we can get a win for you tonight on your birthday. So let's start with the college football predictions for this week. First game out, Kentucky and Missouri non-conference, non-top 25 games. I'm going to go with Kentucky. I think Kentucky looked really good last week. So for my buddy Terry Jewell, I will go Kentucky to get the win over Missouri. In the other non-top 25 game of the week, UCF and Bethune-Cookman, Saturday at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. I will happily take UCF at home. I think the offense looked very good last week. I just want to see a little bit more consistency on the defensive side of the football this week than what I saw last week. So that'll do it for the non-top 25. Let's get into the top 25 games for the week. First game out, Kansas and Coastal Carolina, Friday night in Conway. I'm going to go with Coastal Carolina to get a win here at home. Kansas did not look good last week, but they still won. But I'm going to take Coastal Carolina at home over Kansas. Next up, Florida heading into Tampa to take on South Florida. Virtual home game for Florida. I will take Florida to win and cover this week. I think Florida's a much better team. South Florida looked pitiful last week against NC State. I'll take Florida at home over USF. Next up, Oregon and Ohio State in the Horseshoe on Saturday. I will take Ohio State at home. I think Oregon did not look good last week. They almost lost to San Jose State last week. So I'm going to take Ohio State at home to get it done against Oregon. Next up, Auburn, who just cracked into the top 25 this week. For some reason, I thought that should have been UCF's spot. But, that's just SEC bias, in my opinion. I'm going to go with Auburn at home to get it done against Alabama State. I think Auburn's a better team. So I'll take Auburn at home over Alabama State. Next up, number 19 ranked Virginia Tech, coming off that huge win last Friday night against North Carolina. I will go with Virginia Tech at home to get it done over Middle Tennessee. It should be a great game. Sorry about that. Virginia Tech will beat Middle Tennessee this week, coming off that huge win. I think it'll be a little bit of a letdown to start the game, but I think Virginia Tech will get it going later to get the win at home. Next up, Toledo and Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming off a very close win on Monday night against Florida State. This game will be on Peacock if you want to watch it, usually on NBC, but I guess NBC doesn't want to post a very boring game this week. So I'll take Notre Dame at home to get it done over Toledo. Next up, UAB and Georgia on ESPN2. Georgia coming off that huge win over Clemson last weekend. UAB coming off a win over whoever they played last week. I'm going to go with Georgia to get a win. I think Georgia's a very good team. So I think Georgia's going to get another big win here at home after that huge win last week against Clemson. Again, slow start, but I think Georgia will get it going later. So I'll take Georgia at home to get it done against UAB. Next up, Texas A&M and Colorado. Should be a good game in Denver. I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I think the Aggies are looking very good for Jimbo Fisher this year. So I will take Texas A&M at home over on the road against Colorado. Next up, Murray State and Cincinnati. Cincinnati looked very good last week against a cupcake opponent. I'll take Cincinnati again to get it done at home over Murray State. Big game coming up, I believe, next week for Cincinnati. So they go to Indiana next week. I believe that's either next week or in 2 weeks. We'll see about that. So I'll take Cincinnati at home over Murray State. Next up, Ball State and Penn State. Penn State coming off that big win over Wisconsin last week. I will take Penn State at home. I think Penn State's going to find a way to get a win here in University Park. I think 74 degrees projected for temperature-wise this weekend. I'll take Penn State at home over Ball State. Next up, Mercer and Alabama should be a good game. Alabama looked great last week against Miami. I will take Alabama at home to get it done. 88 degrees projected temperature for Saturday's game in Tuscaloosa. I will take Alabama at home over Mercer. Next up, South Carolina State and Clemson. Clemson looking to bounce back after that very bad performance they showed last week against Georgia, and I think that they will rebound and get a win here in Clemson against South Carolina State here. I think DJU will play much better this week, and I think that Clemson will get a win at home over South Carolina State. Next up, Western Carolina and Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off a very scary win last week over Tulane, I believe. Yeah, it was Tulane. I'll take Oklahoma at home in Norman. A much easier win this week for them over Western Carolina this week. I'll take Oklahoma over Western Carolina at home. Next up, Texas and Arkansas in Fayetteville. I will take Texas. I think Texas looked good last week. Better than I thought they would last week. I'll take Texas on the road to get it done in Fayetteville against Arkansas. Next up, Wisconsin and Eastern Michigan. Wisconsin coming off that tough loss to Penn State last week. I will take Wisconsin at home in Madison to get it done here at home against Eastern Michigan. Next up, Miami staying in the top 25 after that brutal loss to Alabama last week. I will take Miami at home over App State. I think Miami's a better team, and I think that Manny Diaz will get his team ready to go this week. I'll take Miami over App State. Next up, Austin Peay and Ole Miss. Ole Miss looked great last Monday night against Louisville. I'll take Ole Miss at home to get it done in Oxford against at Austin Peay. Next up, Georgia State and North Carolina should be a good game here. North Carolina looking to bounce back after that tough loss last week on the road at Virginia Tech. I will take North Carolina at home to get it done. I think North Carolina is a better team than Georgia State is. So I will take North Carolina at home in Chapel Hill this week against Georgia State. Next up, the Holy War game between BYU and Utah. I believe Utah's won like 6 of the last 6 in a row against BYU. I think Utah will win another one here. It's in Provo, so that's going to be a little bit tough, but I think Utah's just a better team here. I'll take Utah at home on the road in Provo against BYU. Next up, Stanford and SC should be a good game here usually. I'll take SC to get a win here. SC looked very good last week. Give me USC at home in LA against Stanford on Saturday night. Next up, UNLV and Arizona State. Arizona State looked very good last week for Herm Edwards. I'll take ASU at home again. Favored by 33.5 this week. I will take ASU at home over UNLV. And now the College Game Day game of the week. College Game Day will be in Ames this week. And it'll be Iowa State and Iowa. Should be a good game. I'm going to go with Iowa. I think Iowa looked much better last week with that blowout win against Indiana than Iowa State did with that very close win against Northern Iowa, I believe, last week. I will take Iowa at home on the road in Ames to get it done against Iowa State. And now into the NFL games for the weekend. Finally, we get some NFL football on the weekends. First came out, like I was talking about earlier, tonight in Raymond James Stadium, Dallas and Tampa. I'm going to go with the Bucs at home. I think Tom Brady will play very well tonight. I think our defense can play very well tonight against a very good Dallas offense. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win this game, but it could be close. I'm going to take the Bucs at home over the Cowboys. Now into the Sunday action. It'll be the first game out will be the Eagles and the Falcons. Should be a good game here. I'm going to take the Falcons at home. I think the Falcons are a better team than the Eagles. So I'm going to take Matt Ryan and the Falcons to get it done at home in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Eagles. Next up, Steelers and Bills. Should be a good game here. Probably one of the best games of the weekend. I'm going to take Josh Allen and the Bills to get it done here. Sorry, Terry. Sorry, Amanda. I will take the Bills at home to get it done here over the Steelers. I think Buffalo's just a little bit of a better team here. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a potential MVP caliber season. So I'll take the Bills at home over the Steelers. Next up, Vikings and Bengals. Cincinnati looking to have a better season with Joe Burrow this year before he gets hurt again because that offensive line can't protect him. But I think he'll stay healthy this week. I'm going to take the Bengals at home to get it done over the Vikings in my first upset pick of the season. I will take the Bengals at home over the Vikings. Next up, the 49ers and the Lions. 49ers only favored by 7.5 this week. I found that a little bit ridiculous. This is my lock of the week. I will take the Niners on the road to get it done against Jared Goff and the Lions. Next up, Cardinals and Titans should be another good game on CBS. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch this game because they're showing the Jags and the Texans this week on CBS. First game of the weekend. I will take the Titans at home. I think Derrick Henry will play well. I think A.J. Brown will play well. I think both offenses are very high-powered, so I'd like to have fantasy reasons this week. I would start a lot of the offensive guys on this in this game, which I have two of them, so I will take the Titans at home over the Cardinals. Next up, Seahawks and Colts. Should be a good game here. I will take Seattle on the road. I think Russell Wilson is just going to play a little bit better than Carson Wentz this week. Carson Wentz is expected to go this week for the Colts, but I'm going to take Seattle at home on the road in Indy against the Colts. Next up, the Chargers and the Washington football team. Tough game here, but I'm going to go with Washington at home. I think the football team's defense will get the job done this week. Sorry, Kyle, I just don't think the Chargers are going to win this week. But I need Justin Herbert to have a good game because I'm starting in fantasy this week. So I'm going to take the Washington football team to win this game at home over the Chargers. Next up, Jets and Panthers. Potential revenge game for Sam Darnold here as he has his first game in Carolina against his old team in New York. I'm going to take the Panthers at home. I think Sam Darnold's going to outplay Zach Wilson this week. Zach Wilson will probably play well. I'm going to take Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey, and the Panthers to get it done at home over the Jets. Next up, Jags and Texans. The debut of Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. I will go with Jacksonville at home to get it done on the road in Houston to get it done against the Texans. Next up, Browns and Chiefs should be another good game here. Probably one of the best games of the day. I will take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to get it done here at home. I think Baker Mayfield will have a very good season this year. I like that offense. I think that defense is going to be good this year. So I'm going to take the Chiefs at home to get it done in a close one against the Browns. Next up, Dolphins and Patriots. The first time two Alabama quarterbacks played against each other in the NFL. Tua for the Dolphins, Mac Jones for the Patriots. I'm going to go with New England at home. I think the temperature is going to be a little bit of a challenge for the Dolphins. 82 degrees in Foxborough Sunday. The Dolphins would love for this game to be at home when it's like 95 degrees at home in Miami this week. But I'm going to take the Pats at home over the Dolphins. Next up, Green Bay and New Orleans. This game has been moved to Jacksonville because of Hurricane Ida. I will take the Packers on the road to get it done here against famous Jameis and the Saints. Jameis Winston probably going to throw 2 interceptions this week. Don't really have a lot of faith in him until he proves it to me. So I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to get it done on the road against the Saints. Next up, Broncos and Giants. This will be the lowest scoring game of the weekend. I can guarantee you that. Neither one of these offenses impressed me, and both teams have very good defenses. But I'm going to go with Danny Dimes and the Giants to get it done at home. I think if this game was in Denver, I probably would take the Broncos because of the altitude. But I'm going to take the Giants at home in New York to get it done against the Broncos. Next up, Sunday Night Football, first Sunday night game of the season. Andy Dalton and the Bears taking on Matt Stafford and the Rams. Give me the Rams at home. Second straight year the Rams have had Sunday Night Football the first week of the season. They expected to have a crowd last year in SoFi Stadium, but this year they will have full attendance in SoFi Stadium. I will take the Rams at home to get it done against Andy Dalton and the Bears. And now into Monday Night Football, the final game of the weekend. It will be Lamar Jackson and the Ravens heading into Las Vegas to take on Derek Carr and the Raiders. I will take Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to get it done here at home on the road in Vegas. I think Lamar is going to play well. I think John Gruden's running out of patience with Derek Carr. I think he might want a new quarterback pretty soon. So I'll take Baltimore on the road to get it done against the Raiders. And that will do it for this episode of Scott Speaking Sports. I'll be back here next week with more NFL and college football predictions. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Week in Sports. See you later, guys.